Go live. My mouse died. um, I have a mouse that's rechargeable, and I swear I just charged it not that long ago. But thankfully, I have a touchscreen monitor, so I was still able to load the video. Hi, welcome to Wednesday Night Live at 5. Real quick, this is your 1 to 2 minute warning. I'm going to check that the live is up on Facebook and YouTube. So go grab yourself your favorite drink and then we'll get started. I'm just going to check, now that I have my mouse working, that I am coming up on YouTube and Facebook. Hope everybody is having a wonderful day. Today is my grandmother's birthday, so happy birthday, Grandma. She doesn't watch this, so so that's fine. I'm not seeing myself on YouTube. Let me see if I'm coming up on Facebook. Because I've had it set up and sitting for a little while, so it looks like I am up on. I don't want my speakers for a little while, so it looks like I am up on. Okay, we're just gonna mute that for now and do my channel. It's not showing that I am live on YouTube. That's so weird. Let me try a new browser real quick. I know this is the look everyone wants. Because it's showing that it's showing that I'm connected to YouTube. Oh, it's so silly. It's so silly. It's showing last week, but it is not showing this week. So I know we're 3 minutes in. If you are hanging out with me right now, sorry, bear with me just a minute. Normally I don't have a problem. It just loads. So today is the 22nd. That's a past live. Past live. That sounds so funny. Live. Oh, here, maybe. Is this? It might have been set to private, so let me just see what it's doing. Oops. Go back to the main account. I'm telling, there's so many buttons you have to push. So many buttons. So let me go back to my channel. There we are. Oi. Just oi. All right, just let me make sure it's loading and then we will get started. I apologize. Oops. Okay. Go back to All right, so I am very sorry. That was set to private. I thought I had fixed that earlier, but apparently I did not, or it just didn't save in the right place. So let me, I don't want my for a little while. So mute that. And that is muted. Okay. I just want to make sure that I can see the comments, if anyone comments, and that way I can respond to it, because sometimes that does not show up in my little thing over here. So sorry about the delay, y'all. Let's see. Here we go. Hey, hi, how are you? I'm Heidi. I am a work at home handmade business owner at HeidiMind.com, as well as a homeschool mom of a I'm just gonna start saying an 11-year-old and an almost 13-year-old. Oh my goodness. I go live here on Facebook and YouTube on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific. During the live, I share about things going on in my business, homeschooling, and our personal lives. We be sure to follow on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube to get notifications when I post videos or when I go live. And feel free to hit the like or thumbs up button, as this helps more people just like you see the videos and come hang out. If you are joining me live today, please comment with hashtag live, or if you are watching on the replay, comment hashtag replay. This helps me know when people are watching and if I need to change up my times or my days. If you aren't already subscribed, be sure to check the pinned link to sign up for the email list for updates. Let's see. I lost my place. About new products, blog post sales, and other fun things going on. So I know I've been doing this for quite a few months now. I still use the script in front of me because there are so many thoughts scrambling in my brain that when I go to talk, um, if I don't have something in front of me to kind of glance at, then I will go off on some rando tangent. So I apologize because I know it looks like I'm looking down because my camera is right where you are and the wording is just below the camera. Someday I'll have it memorized, possibly, or by the time I get it memorized, I'll probably change the whole intro. So what can you do? um, So yeah, happy birthday, Grandma. She is 92 today, uh, which I know she doesn't really care if I tell people because she thinks it's hilarious. We got to go out and spend her 90th birthday with her in 2020. No, not 2020, in 2021. I keep doing that. She actually fell at the end of January, early February in 2021. And my stepmom went out to stay with my grandma. And at that time, my dad decided that he should just go ahead and move in with grandma because she she's fully capable of doing things on her own. She still gets up every day. She gets fully dressed. She makes her bed. She does her own laundry. She does a lot of her own food prep, like breakfast and lunch. But you know, she was kind of lonely, as as we would get if we were just living with our dog. So dad went ahead and moved out to Arizona from California. Um, but in 2021, we were not doing in-person lessons because in our area in California, we were still having a lot of um, shutdowns and shelter in place situations. And our charter school was not open for in-person learning. So I told my dad, you know, while you're packing up the house, how about I go stay with grandma for a couple weeks because we're going to go celebrate her birthday with her anyway. So I went to The kids and I went out to Arizona for, I want to say it was 3 weeks that trip. Um, and it was so much fun. And the weather was absolutely beautiful. I know everybody's like, Arizona, it's so hot, it's the desert. Absolutely true. But in February, at least that particular year, it was just gorgeous. Um, and it was just a lot of fun. And we went back in the summer. I think that first year we went back in July. Um, and we spent a month there. And Dad went off and did some traveling and whatnot. And that has become our tradition now that the kids and I pack up and we go to Arizona for a month in the summer. So we did that last year in June, and we will be doing that again this summer for a month. So we're very excited. We can't wait to see Grandma. Wish we could have gone for her birthday, but now we are back in person learning, and it just, even though it's President's Day weekend, it just wasn't going to work out um, with everything. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, very happy birthday to Grandma. So that's my off topic thing, because that was not on my little script today. So around the house, we've officially decided we don't really love meal prep recipes. I don't know if we don't love meal prep or if we don't, or if we're just not like really into the recipes. There have been a few that we have liked. Um, and I think part of it, the the particular guide that I purchased, it's not that they're not good recipes. They're very good. I'm not going to say that they're not delicious because they are. Um, for this particular like month, they're winter recipes. There were a lot more soups than I thought there would be, and we're not really big. Like the kids aren't really big on soups. Like I don't mind them, but we're not like a soup for dinner kind of family. So on the nights that we do soup, I always have to make something else anyway. Um, so and then like I don't know, for some reason in my head I was thinking that if I did this meal prep, then I wouldn't have to do anything except throw it all in the cooker later. But really there's other stuff you have to do, like if you want to have a side vegetable or um, like there was one night we had like a lasagna kind of soup, and we didn't have sourdough bread because I didn't think to go get it. So even though we have these things prepped, we're working on the execution of like actually saying, okay, we're going to have these meals on these nights, and that way I can be a little bit more prepared. So it's a learning process, and I get that. Um, the recipes are very good. We do like the taste of them. But again, this one was just, it was a lot of soups, and the majority of them are chicken. And I don't know, like I feel like it's the most chicken I've ever eaten in my entire life at one sitting. So um, I'm doing some research into some other recipes. Originally, I was just going to go ahead and do a bunch of meal prep like over the next few months. And that way, even though we would be going on our month-long trip and we wouldn't be using the meals, they'd already be in our freezer when we got back. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that anymore, but we'll see. We'll see. And I'm not sure how I'm going to be doing my filming and my lives when I go to Arizona. I'm sure I can do them. Um, the dynamics just might be a little different. So we'll play all that by ear. Since I was talking about Arizona anyway. And it is hot when we go. It will be in the hundreds, definitely. Um, my dad has a little like workshop in his backyard that he lets me use when I'm there, because I will be bringing my smaller embroidery machines and my heat press so that I can still work while I'm there. Um, but I have to leave the air conditioner on when I'm in that room. And I don't know if you can, I don't rewatch my lives very often. So I might have to do that. Although I don't know that the heater comes on very often when I'm live. Like it just came on. So I'll have to like fast forward in about 15 minutes and see if I can hear that. Um, and I'm not sure if the fan is stronger when I'm running air conditioning versus when I'm running my heater. But that's all stuff we have to kind of look at because I just don't want a lot of background noise if I'm doing a live, and then we'll figure all the rest of it out. But I am looking forward to it. She doesn't have a pool, but like she lives in a kind of a, it's not, it's like not like a community for old people. It's just like a community, and they have a community pool, and it's usually somewhere in the like high 80s, early 90s, early in the morning, like 8, 9 o'clock. So that's usually when the kids and I go to the pool, and we go for 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the day, um, because not a lot of people are there. Uh, so I am looking forward to that because and when I say I lost like 20 pounds last year when I was there, because like we went swimming at least every other day. There were some days, some weeks that we went every day. So yeah, but I'm gathering really good recipes because Grandma likes when I cook dinners. So I'm getting good recipes together for her. I have not been keeping up with my Fly Lady cleaning. Uh, I Facebook Facebook is funny because it, you know, they have like the targeted ads, and it's this whole thing with their algorithm, and the phones are listening and the electronics are listening, and I don't know, I maybe they talk to us when we're sleeping. I'm not sure, but I saw this planner on Facebook, or an ad for a planner, and it said like the ADHD planner. And I clicked on it because I'm insane. But I'm very scatterbrained, and I love planners. I have a little bit of an addiction to planners. I will buy them. I will write in a couple of months, and then I will never look at them again. But they're pretty. So I have switched to um, a digital planner. Mostly I use my Google Calendar because I can get alerts on my phone, and that's wonderful when you're a little bit overwhelmed and you need those reminders. I love my Google Calendar because it's free. I also pay for it's called a crafter's calendar, but it's for my business. So I pay for that from a business, and I like it. And she did a fantastic job this year, and I love it because it's got a lot of sectioned places for me to write, but not so much going on that it's distracting for my brain. But I clicked on this link for this ADHD planner, and I'm looking at the PDFs, because that's in my brain. I justify purchasing things if it's a PDF, because then I don't have a physical thing. I can just upload it into GoodNotes on my iPad. So in my head, and theoretically, I'm going to use these things. No, I did not buy it. It is a no spend month. I stuck to my guns on that one. But it literally was just PDFs of things that I could go and get for free on Canva, checklists and different like views of calendars and to-do lists and whatnot. Um, and I was just like, wow, they got me. They got me to click it. Um, because if it would have been something that maybe would have, I don't know. I feel like I don't have diagnosed anything, first of all, total disclaimer. Um, I don't know that I actually have ADD or ADHD. I know that I am a busy person. I am now a single parent, and I am I am the kind of person that my brain has like 50 tabs open all the time, and I'm always trying to figure out like what I'm supposed to do next. And I was talking to my oldest last night about how it's like sometimes how my brain works. Years ago, I worked for a bridal shop, and what was I? I was in my early 20s. Yeah, early 20s. Early 20s. It was 2000, roughly 2000 to 2005 that I worked there. And I could tell you every single bride where their dress was, like if it was on order, if it was in the store, if it was with the seamstress. I could tell you what alterations were being done, if she had any accessories, what her wedding date was. I don't know if I said that already. If she had any bridesmaids that had dresses with us, where the bridesmaids' dresses were, if they had tuxedos on order, if they had invitations, any detail about the wedding that we were handling, I could tell you every single part of it for any current bride that we had. And the minute their wedding was over, I completely forgot anything to do with them. And it was like the circular file in my head. That information was now processed and done, and I still could tell you everything about any current brides. Um, and during that time, I also got married myself. And what was it? I got married in August, which is August is not, from my particular area, August is not generally a popular month. It just happened to be that our dating anniversary was also in August, and our dating anniversary fell on a Saturday on that particular year, so it was also our wedding date. Um, we had the most weddings that particular August that she had ever had, she said, the owner. And we had seven, excuse me, I think we had seven weddings that Saturday, plus a quinceañera, which is, if you don't know, it's a 15th birthday celebration. And the quinceañera was at the church where my wedding was, and their quinceañera was right before my wedding. So it was like this whole thing. Um, but like I had this great memory when I worked for my dad for his heating and air conditioning company. I could tell you things about jobs that he had run and what he had done at jobs for years. Um, and then I had kids, and I swear they take part of your memory with them. Um, so I am always looking, like I'm always on the lookout for things that are going to help me, um, like tunnel vision, what needs to get done. Uh, so I know Fly Lady, because that's what I was originally talking about. See what happens when I don't have a script? Um, Fly Lady has their own like app calendar called Cozy, and you can, I know there's a way you can link it with your Google Calendar, but then I don't know, something happens when I start linking their calendar with Google, and I start getting like way too many notifications, and then I turn off the notifications because I feel like I'm getting overwhelmed. Um, so, and I, and the way Fly Lady sets it up is you do a little bit of cleaning each day. And I realized that that's not how I roll. Um, when I was a teenager living at my dad's house, uh, we had daily chores, like like I cleaned up the kitchen after dinner at night. And I think my brother took like the garbage out every night. And there were certain things we did like every day that were small things. And then we had Saturday chores or weekend chores. And we had to have them done either Saturday or Sunday. And that was like laundry and cleaning the bathrooms. And my brother used to do the yards, like mowing the lawns and stuff. So in my mind, when I moved out, I think I just mentally told myself that Saturdays are for chores because that's what I always had done. And like, I didn't really have plans on Saturday morning as a teenager. So it didn't occur to me that as an adult, I might not want to get up on Saturday morning and do like 4 or 5 hours of chores. Um, but looking at the Fly Lady calendar, like they break it down into these little tiny chunks every day, which is fine. And some of those work. But generally, if I'm doing these smaller cleaning portions, it has to be like either first thing in the morning when I get up or last thing right before I'm getting ready to go to bed. Um, and if I have to stop in the middle of the day, I'm not going to do it. So I'm working with that. Like obviously, that's a me problem. So um, like I some days I'm looking at the calendar and I'm like, maybe I'm just gonna like take Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and I'm just gonna do all of it on one of those 3 days, and then I don't have something to do on the other 2 days, and that's okay. Uh, so that's, you have to do what's good for you in those situations. But what I do like is that she does, I say she, whoever the Fly Lady people are that are writing this stuff, um, that they break it down so it's not like you're cleaning your entire house in 1 week. You're doing spot cleaning to places. Like obviously, you're going to want to vacuum your floor or sweep your floor or whatever. But it's not like you have to wash your windows every single week. You can if that's what you need to do. But like they break it down like 1 week is your kitchen, and there's a few days that you spend on your living room and your dining room, and then there's a whole week that's just like a bathroom and a couple of bedrooms, and another week that's the master bathroom and a master bedroom and something like that. So that's where I'm at. Is I just am trying to break things down so that it works for my schedule and it works for the way that my brain works. So I have not been keeping up with the Fly Lady routine because it doesn't always work for my schedule, and then I put it off, and then I have to come back to it. So I am getting there. Like I do little bits to the house at a time. Um, but I really need to sweep. We have hardwood in, I don't know, the majority of the house. Only 2 bedrooms have carpet. Um, and I haven't swept in a few days, we'll say. And I have cats, and so like you have to sweep. Um, I have been getting up earlier, at least the last few days. I know yeah, I talked last week about that I haven't been exercising lately and I haven't been getting up as early. Um, I don't know if I heard on the radio or if it was, I think it was on the radio. It could have been just Spotify, like a commercial. But I only heard a snippet and it said, like, there's a reason that you shouldn't push the snooze button in the morning. And then, like, I stopped listening because I love my snooze button. Let's be honest. Uh, but really, I made a mental note because I will use that snooze button a lot, and then I don't get up on time. So and I know there's like this whole thing about I don't remember where I read it. I read it somewhere that was like if you want to get up at a certain time, set your alarm for like 15 minutes earlier, and then you have like some time to get up, whatever. I don't know. I in my mind I feel like that just gives me an excuse to hit the snooze button. So usually I tell myself I want to be up by 6, um, because I really am like I'm sort of a morning person and I'm sort of a night person. I'm just sort of a like if I'm awake, then I'm awake. I don't know how to describe it. Like I have my moments where I'm like tired and cranky, but for the most part, I'm not like dragging in the morning and I'm not dragging in the evening unless I've only gotten 2 or 3 hours of sleep and then I'm just draggy. So I do like getting up early. I feel like if I get up by 6 o'clock in the morning, that I have a way more productive day than if I get up at even 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. So I decided I want to be up at 5:30 because I don't know. My mom and I had this whole conversation about how much sleep a person should get, and I'm somewhere between like 6.5, 7 hours. If I get more than 7 hours of sleep, um, I'm I don't know. I'm like really weird. Like I feel like overtired still. I don't know. It's weird. So if I can get right between 6.5, 7 hours, um, like not total sleep deprivation, but like just the cusp of it, then I'm good. I don't know. It's weird. Um, so I did not work out today. I didn't do any things, but I did get up early. Um, so that was good. Like, yeah. And then I figure, I'll go to bed at a good time tonight because I got up nice and early this morning, and then I can do it again and at least walk tomorrow. That's the goal. Because I do want to start doing that again, walking. And I was doing yoga, really horribly doing yoga. but, um, but yeah, anyways, that's a whole nother thing. And then yesterday was Mardi Gras. So happy Mardi Gras yesterday. And if you observe, um, happy Ash Wednesday. Uh, we were going to do like some kind of a Cajun style, whatever, dinner. And usually we watch Princess and the Frog, and then I was going to make beignets for dessert. But my father in law called and he asked if he could take us out for pizza. And I am not one to say no to pizza. So we went out to dinner with him last night. Um, and I stopped ordering soda at restaurants a while ago. And part of it is because I'm super cheap. And I feel like they charge you like it's over $2 to get a soda at a restaurant. Even close to $3. Maybe not where you're at, but where I'm at, it's definitely over $2, somewhere in the vicinity of three. And I feel like it's already hard enough to get decent service in restaurants. Um, so if I'm not going to drink three sodas, like three glasses of soda, I don't feel like I'm getting my money's worth. And maybe that's insane, but it is what it is. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like getting to that crotchety old stage where I'm super cheap and I'm counting those pennies. But somewhere in my head, that's what I started telling myself. If I'm not going to drink three glasses of soda, I don't need to order it. And so at first, I was drinking three glasses of soda, and I don't even like that much soda. So then it got to the point where I was drinking water because I like water. And last night I thought, oh, I might get a soda. And just the thought of drinking soda actually started to make my stomach upset. So I don't know. Maybe I don't like soda anymore. Um, I do have, I went through this whole phase somewhere in my teenage years where I didn't want to drink ice with my soda. And again, it's that cheapskate in me that I felt like the soda comes out of the machine cold, so I shouldn't need to put ice in it because ice is just going to water it down and give me less soda. The things I thought as a teenager. So there was a long period of time where I did not drink any ice in my soda for like years. It only I only started drinking ice again in my soda within maybe the last 5 to 10 years even. So it's been a long time. And we have like this little countertop ice maker in our house. And so when I would have soda, we didn't usually keep it in our refrigerator. Then I make the ice um, because the soda wasn't cold. And now I've stopped buying soda. I have soda in my house. I prefer diet soda. It's a whole thing. Um, and a few years ago, I got one of those Soda Streams, and they don't they don't taste the same. It doesn't taste like Pepsi, let's be honest. Even the one that is like the licensed trademarked Pepsi, whatever. It doesn't taste like Pepsi. But I started making those, and like I might drink that once a month, like 8 ounces of one of those once a month with ice in it, so it's watered down. So I don't know. Maybe I don't like soda anymore. Who knows? The list of things that I don't drink is quite extensive. I think I saw somewhere that Margarita Day is coming up. Is that today? I think it's today. Huh. And I was gonna make a margarita, even though I don't like margaritas. But I don't know. Obviously, I'm not going to do that now because I don't have anything to make margaritas. What do they have? Tequila? I think I have tequila. I could just have a shot of tequila. Put some. I could put a lemon wedge in it. I have lemon, and I'll call it my poor girl margarita. But anyways, so yeah. And if we hadn't had pizza, I could have made margarita pizza, which is not spelled the same, but still kind of fun. So if you haven't had dinner yet, it's margarita day. Go treat yourself. Um, yeah. Homeschool updates. We're just trekking along. Today we had a parent workshop. If you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you may have seen in the stories that I talked a little bit about it. Basically, our charter school that we use, I want to say it was within the last 5 years. They used to do like these parent things earlier, and I never used to go to them. So they could have been doing these the entire time we've been with the charter school, and I don't know. I'll be honest. Um, but I know that in 2017 or 2018 was when I stopped working for my dad, that I made a little pact with myself that I was going to attend at least half of the parent workshops. So, what these are is like teachers. I don't know if they're still called in service days, but teachers have their own training days. And they're worked into the school year, and usually your kid will get the day off from school. And it's not a holiday, and it's not like a snow day or whatever inclement weather day. It's just a scheduled day for the teachers to get some sort of learning about whatever the school wants them to learn. So our charter school, um, we have lots of licensed California teachers, and they decided, hey, we should do this for the parents because they're home educators and they don't have the same resource to these teacher trainings. So once a month, they do a parent workshop where they teach us something, something to do with homeschool. And I know that I talked about the last one because my friend Sarah, uh, she spoke at the last workshop. Um, and if you are interested in hearing more about homeschooling, go check out um, Home with Sarah Jane, because that is my friend. She's my friend in real life. And she does all these great videos about homeschooling, and what they do and everything. So she's got great tips, and ideas and just all kinds of things. And I actually met Sarah either in 2017 or 2018 at a parent workshop, and we just ended up at the same table. We hit it off, and we have been fast friends ever since. Um, she doesn't always go to the workshops because they don't always align with her schedule. Usually they align with mine, um, because I'm boring and I don't do a whole lot. When I know she's going to watch this and she'll laugh about it later. Uh, so we Sarah's online. Hi, Sarah. Um, so Today they had a parent workshop. Usually they have one for writing and one for math, and I love their math one. It's fantastic. Um, and then today was the writing workshop. And my oldest takes a language arts class at the charter school. And the woman that taught this writing workshop today was was is the language arts teacher. Uh, so even though my daughter sees her every single week, I was like, "You're going anyway." Um, and when we first got ready to go, like Evie, my youngest, she was dragging. She did not want to go. Neither one of the kids was looking forward to it. They're like writing, blah. Um, and Sarah, did you watch the Zoom? Because you said it's so fun to see you. Did you? Was I on the Zoom? Um, I don't know where they put the camera. In so for everyone else, in 2020, because we were not allowed to do things in person, they had to switch I mean, I guess they didn't have to, but they chose to switch the parent workshops to offer Zoom instead so that we were still getting our training. Um, my iPad just lit up. Uh, and then it worked so well for people that now we still have, well, we have the option for our in person again, but then they also offer Zoom. And sometimes they have the cameras where you can see where the camera is, and sometimes they don't. Um, so I don't know where the camera was today because I wasn't. Oh, at the last workshop. Yeah, at the last workshop, Sarah and I had a lot of fun. And then we went to Red Robin and hung out for a little too long. Um, so today, when they did the writing workshop, uh, they broke it into different parts. So it was like from 9 something to 11:45 ish. And I didn't go to the first one because I don't have a second, third grader. Um, I have a fifth grader and a seventh grader, and they did 2 different time slots. We had about 45 minutes, which is a very short time to teach essay writing. Um, but I was shocked. So the first thing the teacher asks is like, who likes to write? And the parents at the fourth, fifth grade workshop, there were a few more parents. I mean, I'll raise my hand because I'm a dork and I don't care. I love to write. I love to write. I used to write, used to, I still write. I have always loved to write. I have notebook upon notebook of things that I write. Um, spend yeah, hours. Um, I have notebooks as a teenager of things that I wrote. I have so many notebooks now. Like, and it doesn't even have to be something like creative writing. I will write myself a list every single day just because I like to write. I write my blog because I like to write. Because trust me, having a blog it's a lot of work and there's not a lot of like payback in it. So my blog is purely selfish. I write it for me. It's fun. I love to do it. I love to just put ideas out there. So if you're ever super bored and you just need a laugh, go check out my blog. It's at HeidiMind.com. And yeah, I mean, there's some like more educational things that I wrote, but mostly it's purely brain dump, and I have a lot of fun with it. Um, so what I thought was ironic was that the teacher said she doesn't like to write, and I thought that was great. Um, and she went over a few things with us about what we were going to be doing, and they had some worksheets. And I am not kidding. Evie filled up like 2 pages with writing. Like she she almost wrote an entire story in roughly 30 minutes because the first 15 was just the introduction to whatever we were doing. And I was shocked. And part of me wasn't shocked because Evie is my creative writer. She doesn't think she is. But that kid could tell you a story just verbally, and she will go on and on. Like, and it spins out of control. She told us this whole story about a car in Ohio. The kid's never been to Ohio. I don't know where she even got that. My nose is itchy. Um, that's not what her thing was today. Like, they had to write a narrative and it had to be based on like an actual experience of theirs. Um, and so she wrote about a Christmas 2 years ago when we went to the snow and blah blah blah. But she wrote like this whole thing, and it was fabulous. And I was so proud of her. And we're gonna clean it up because they said, take it home, do some of the stuff at home, um, and just send it to the teacher so that she has a little bit of feedback about how it went. So I was like, cool, cool. Evie's on board. She understands the writing thing. Awesome. And then it was Sammy's turn. And there were a couple of other kids that she knew from her core classes. And that also surprised me that there were other kids there that are also in this woman's class and they still came to this workshop. So I thought that was interesting. Um, and Sammy did not want to do it. Not at all. She was giving me like mean mugging faces and she was in shutdown mode, and I don't think she can hear me or she'd probably be out here giving me dirty looks. I was absolutely sure that she was not going to do anything during this workshop. And one of her friends that was also at the table with us, uh, she also was just not enthused with any part of the workshop. And it was so funny because they did this little brainstorming session where they had to write down like 3 different events that they might want to write about, and then from those 3 they had to pick one event and actually write about it. And they had this whole I forget what they called it. uh I have my bag from earlier. I don't want to show it because it's got like our, I don't know, it's got information from our actual trip. But Sammy wrote about the year that I went to. She talked about 2 years ago when we went to see my grandma for her birthday, and I went in the hot tub on accident. My cousin's daughter, who was 3 or 4 at the time, she was in the hot tub and she slipped off of the step and she went under the water. And I already had my feet in the water. So it was just like a natural reaction that when she went under and she wasn't coming back up because she's little, that I just walked into the hot tub and pulled her out. It's like 2 seconds. But what I didn't remember was that my phone was in my pocket. So I killed my phone on that trip. So that's what Sammy wrote about because it's funny. So she must have taken her papers because I don't see them. But I wish I knew what it was called. It just says like planning your story. I don't know. I'm just gonna kind of show it real quick, but it's like this. So they just write a few sentences, and it's very very rough draft. And then they say so like you write your story outline. That's what it was, story outline. And Samantha's was a little bit more in depth, that it was broken down into more sections, and it was like, what's the title going to be, and who are the characters, and what was the, like it talks about, how the story builds. So like the rising action and the climax and the falling action and the resolution. It goes into all that, and it has like little boxes for each thing. So you're not writing your whole essay, or narrative, or whatever you want to call it. You're just filling out the boxes, and then you take that information and you turn it into your story. And then she talks about the difference between revising and editing. And I thought that was really interesting because when she talks about revising, it is different from editing because when you're revising, you are like the way I explained it to the kids is we're fleshing out the paragraphs, we're adding more words. Like uh, in Sammy's case, it was transition words, and in Evie's, it was adding adjectives. So she was saying you can use it like as an add-on, like a bonus learning session within the writing because you talk about whatever it is that you want the kid to add and then they add it. So that was cool. And then the editing is the actual proofreading and correcting the mistakes, and then the publishing is the final draft. But Samantha and the friend that were sitting at the table, as soon as they got to that outline, that like essay outline, keyword outline, whatever it was, um, they just started filling it out. And by the time the teacher was done, like going over the the lesson, both girls had filled their entire pages with words. So I was like, this is magical. Um, and that's, that is a process with homeschooling is that we have that ability to not just tell our kids, you need to write a book report about XYZ book, or you need to write a creative short story about something that you think up yourself. Because Lord knows, if you tell a child that they have to create a story out of thin air, they're going to stare at you like you're crazy. So it was it was really a great way for the teachers to help us as parent educators to be able to navigate with our own kids how to do these things so that if they do choose to go to college, or if my kids ever wanted to go to public school, or however, whatever we wanted to do eventually, that they can transition into those situations and it's not a huge wake up call. um, because I think that that's, like, I don't know, people are always worried about whether or not my kids are socializing enough. And I'm so tired of people asking me if my kids are socialized. We don't live in our house except when we were forced to. And don't get me started on that whole thing. Um, Socialization is more than just going to school, and it should be. Uh, so you can come at me all day, every day about socialization of children, and I will have every single argument for you. If you come at me with something a little bit more technical, that's where the wheels start spinning. Um, so I do love the resource. I love the resource of the parent workshops because they give us a little bit of insight into what public school teachers would be teaching our kids and how to be able to integrate that into our own school day, as well as to manipulate it to work with our own kids. Because I have, like I said, I have one kid that is very creative. She could, if I said, tell me a story about a red rubber ball, that kid could go on for days. She will just spin yarns about it. Samantha, not so much. Not that she's not a creative kid, but her creativity lies in different areas. So yeah, so that's my preaching point on homeschooling for the night. But I like the bear workshop. I always get a lot out of those. Um, and that's the only homeschool update. Uh, wow, it's almost been an hour already. Go me. Look at me talking all the time. Business updates. Oh, business updates. It's a lot. It's a lot. I keep talking about I'm cleaning this, I'm cleaning that, I'm organizing this, I'm organizing that. Um, I do have I do have some bins that I'm going to be going through to start getting my older handmade items up. I know I say that every week, but I have them in the room now. So they've officially made it. But this weekend I have set aside as a sewing weekend. It's supposed to rain. It keeps going back and forth. And that happens a lot this time of year in our area. I always joke, um, always joke with locals that in Brentwood, we're kind of in this weird Stephen King bubble that if they say that our county or like even our small section of the county is going to get 5 inches of rain, Brentwood will be completely dry. If they say that, you know, everywhere else is going to get 2 inches of rain, we might get 6 inches of rain. Like it's so bizarre. It's hotter here than it is when you go into one of the outlying cities. It's just, it's this weird, weird place. Um, there are times when like we have this insane like horror story fog, and the minute you leave like the Brentwood border, it's gone. Or vice versa. Some of the outlying areas, because we do have water around the outlying cities, uh, hence where you're going to get that fog. So if you have a lot of fog in the outlying areas, you'll drive into the Brentwood border and there won't be any. It's just the weirdest place to live, which is fabulous for me. But when they said rain, I'm like, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna go drive around. I hate driving in the rain. I am not gonna pretend like I'm gonna work outside because I'm not gonna do it. I have set aside, it is not a house cleaning weekend, it is a sewing weekend because I have a long list of things that I want to make that are going to be brand new for my business and also just because some things are fun. Um, so yeah, so I'm like, no, the house cleaning is tonight, tomorrow, and Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, it is all sewing. I might do a little cleaning in here, but it is a sewing weekend. If anyone needs a t-shirt for St. Patrick's Day, this weekend is going to be the last weekend to purchase in order to get it in time for St. Patrick's Day. I was able to push that out a little because I think I got my dates mixed up when I picked the weekend that was the cutoff. I don't know. But I have a lot of the transfers in stock, so I just have to get the t-shirts, which come very fast. So if you need a St. Patrick's Day shirt, let me know. I do have a few Easter designs on my website, and I think I have more Easter coming soon. I'm not sure. But I have some other stuff for Easter that is not t-shirts, and I'm really excited for that. So that is that. And I was looking at my videos earlier before I started the live, and if you hold the mouse over the video, it'll start to play some of the video. And in a bunch of the videos, like I make these really bizarre faces, and then in like three of them, it's just me standing up, sitting down, standing up, sitting down. It's hilarious. So I was like, I'm gonna do the t-shirt at the end because that way it's not me standing up, sitting down. So the t-shirt of the week, this is my t-shirt of the week. Here we go. Emotionally attached to fictional characters, which I absolutely am. I'm not gonna lie. Um, my fictional character of choice is Mr. Darcy, Pride and Prejudice. There are a lot of them, don't get me wrong. Like, it doesn't even have to be like that I'm in love with a male character. It could just be that I'm just emotionally attached to them. If I read a book, those characters are my best friends. They're my family. It's insane. Sarah loves my tea. Thank you. I'm like, I love it. I love it. Um, yeah, I bought myself a bunch of blank t-shirts last year because I was going to reopen my shop, I think in September, October. And so I bought a bunch of fall color shirts thinking that I was going to press designs and then have like fall Thanksgiving and maybe even some Halloween shirts. And then, like, I don't know what happened. Maybe I ordered them in August, and then my brother was in his car accident, and then we ended up going on our road trip. So I didn't end up doing any of the things. So I have like a ton of blank shirts right now that are my sizes, and they're kind of like jewel tone fall colors. So I'm like, well, I have to use them. I don't want to buy new shirts because no spend February. And so I was like, I have to get them, or have to use them. So I started pulling out like just kind of generic, like not seasonal stuff. Although yesterday I did have a Mardi Gras shirt. I don't even know if I ever posted that to my business page. I think I only posted it to my personal like Instagram and Facebook because I forget things. See what I mean? Um, and then it was like ridiculously windy yesterday, so I wore a sweatshirt all day and I didn't take any more pictures. But I loved this shirt. I thought, or this design, I thought it was hilarious. Um, Again, when I was talking to Samantha last night about some of her homework and like how I read things, she had an assignment. She had to answer a question about an article about the Tuskegee Airmen, and and I of course have seen the movies. I think the movie is called The Red Tails. Uh, I can't remember, but I have seen the movie. I think it came out in like the late 90s, early 2000s about the Tuskegee Airmen. It's a beautiful movie. Um, and obviously they're very important to our American history. Um, so yeah, not going to get into all that. But so I was telling her about it, and I'm like, for some reason, the way that my brain works is that I don't just read a book and like picture pretty things in my brain. Like, I want to know what they're feeling and what they're thinking, and if I was that person, what would I be doing? And I'm like, I get very engrossed in things that I read and movies that I watch and TV shows that I watch, but especially in books, because in books you do get a little bit more perspective. Currently, I just finished the Mayfair Witches, and I've officially moved into Teltos. I've read these before. I read them years ago. I think when they were almost right after they were released, I read uh, Mayfair Witches, Taltos, and Lasher. I wanted to read them. These are by Anne Rice. I wanted to read them again because they they're doing like a TV show, or it's already on air, the Mayfair Witches. And so like I'm a weirdo and I like to read the book and then watch the movie or the TV series. But now I'm not sure I want to watch the TV series because it's not getting very good reviews. And I'm not one of those people, like, I don't care if a book and a movie are the same. Um, in fact, I prefer that they're not. I like it better when creative license is taken and that there is differences between a book and a movie. I like looking for those differences. But the caveat, I like that in the storyline. I don't like it with the characters. So I don't know if anybody knows this. Harry Potter. Harry Potter, Sarah will know this. I'm sure Sarah will know this. Um, Harry Potter is always said to have Lily's eyes, right? Lily had green eyes. His mother had green eyes. Daniel Radcliffe has blue eyes, I believe. And they did not have him wear contacts. He's a child. Um, So they just changed that for the movies. And that is probably one of the most subtle things that you could possibly do in like book to movie. Like, let's be honest, who cares, right? No one cares. I care. I absolutely care. because they're in the books. It's is a theme within the storylines that follows through the series about, he looks like his father, but he has his mother's eyes. Um, so it's like this whole thing. So obviously, you can't always have an actor that looks exactly like a fictional character. Like, it's almost impossible. Um, but it does bother me when they get key factors wrong. What was another one that really bothered me? And again, it's the eyes. I don't know why it's the eyes. I'm not normally an eye person. I'm normally a teeth person. Like, I'm very obsessed with people's teeth, actually. It's weird. Not in a judgy way. I don't know. Anyways, uh, what was it? It was something. It was Shadow Hunters, because I'm a nerd. So when they were going to make a Shadowhunter movie, this had Lily Collins and I can't think of his name, but he's like the bad guy on that Stranger Things show. He's adorable. He's adorable. He was in Sweeney Todd also. And Jamie Campbell Bowers, is that it? Jamie Bowers Campbell Bowers, whatever order that comes in. So he was also in it, and it wasn't called Shadowhunters though. My brain is just not spinning completely. Anyways, it came out years ago. Um, when I saw a preview for it in a movie theater, back when I used to go to movie theaters, I thought it looked really intriguing. I found out that it was based on a book. So I went and got the book and I read the book. And I read it very quickly because it's a young adult story. Um, and I liked it. I really liked the book. And I know there were a lot of people, once the movie came out, people didn't like it. I don't know. It wasn't their cup of tea, whatever. I thought it was very similar to the book. There were a few things I felt they left out that were important, but overall, I thought they did a good job. Um, but they never made any of the subsequent sequels because there were multiple sequels to the book because the first movie didn't do well in theaters. So I guess now the thing is that if it flops in the movie theater, they wait X amount of years and then they turn it into a TV series. Not sure why. Um, and it works for some of them. So they did come out with the TV show Shadowhunters. I do know that one was called Shadowhunters. Um, and they got this whole new cast, like kind of, I think it was a lot of unknowns, except for the adorable um, person that plays Magnus Bane. I love him. He's so cute. Uh, he was spot on with that character. Like he was perfect for that. That the actor was perfect for the character. But his love interest, Alec, uh, there's this whole thing. Alec's in like all the books, and he has blue eyes, and it's this thing in the book. And the actor they got to play Alec in the TV series did not have blue eyes, and that bothered me. I'm just gonna say it. So Mayfair Witches, people are saying that like they've gone completely off from the book. It's not anything like the book, which might be a good thing because the book, although I love being emotionally attached to my books and my book characters, I can still tell the difference between real and fiction. And the Mayfair Witches is a very mature book. There's content in it that is disturbing, not because of witches and witchcraft, but just some of the content is sexual and some of it um, is not pleasant. Um, but they're fictional characters. Like, I don't know. Like, stuff happens. It happens in the real world. There should be no reason we're not writing about it. Whatever. Personally, I think it goes towards psychology of the characters, but I'm not going to go off on that tangent right now because we're already an hour in. So my biggest problem with wanting to watch the series, I think part of it is like it's a like a plus channel, so I think I have to pay for it. So I'm not going to do that. If I have to pay for it, I just won't watch it. If I can stream it free somewhere, then I'll watch it. Um, but the young woman that they have playing the lead character, I don't know her name. I really don't. I'm not going to look it up. She was in the Percy Jackson series, and she did that not dystopian. She did that she did a movie with The Rock where she played his daughter, and like the ocean came up into San Francisco and whatever. Um, and I think she's an okay actor. I haven't seen her in a whole lot of stuff, but the stuff I've seen her in, she's a little rough, but it's all right. Whatever. Maybe it plays to the realness of who she's trying to be in the movie or situation. Um, so part of the reason I want to watch it is because it takes place in New Orleans, and I just went to New Orleans last year, and the day we went, they had been shutting down a bunch of streets because they were going to start filming for a TV series, and we didn't know which TV series it was going to be. But that would have been right in the timeline for this particular show. But it also would have been in the timeline for the Interview with the Vampire series that they were doing, and with the Winchester series that they're doing, all different networks. So, all things that I actually want to watch because, again, Interview with the Vampire, also Anne Rice. That that series is absolutely fantastic. And the Winchesters. Who doesn't love the Winchesters? Sam and Dean, they're not in it, but whatever. Supernatural was awesome. So, anyways, the lead character in the book, she is a blonde with gray eyes, and this particular actress is a dark brunette, and maybe she has gray eyes in real life, but they look very blue in all of the um, like promos that I've seen. And there's like this family necklace that's part of the story, and it's an emerald, so that's fine. They got the emerald right. But I don't know. I always just the description of it in the book and what I picture in my head is more that it's this just gaudy piece of jewelry. Um, and it's like, what are those? I can't think of the necklace. The ones with like the silhouette face on them, like a cameo. That's what I'm thinking. That it's like a cameo style. That instead of the cameo in it, it's this emerald. But it's like that's what I picture in my head. That it's like some lacy, filigree kind of setting and that sort of thing. And I saw the picture of what they have for the TV show, and it's like a key necklace, and I wasn't loving that because there is a whole thing in the story about like a doorway and this and that and the other and whatever. Um, but it's not a literal door. Like you don't need a physical key. So maybe I'll do a talk about that one day about like my thoughts on books I've read and versus the TV shows or the movies because I do love doing that. I like reading the books and I like watching the movies. I prefer to read the book before I watch the movie, but I don't always do that. I saw The Stand in the 90s. I have not seen the more recent version of The Stand, but I saw the like 90s version of The Stand and I loved it. That is classic filmography right there. And I did not read The Stand until last year. Um, but and I think that the adaptation they did in the 90s was very close to the book, and it was brilliantly done. And I'm a big fan of Stephen King's writing. Maybe not of Stephen King himself. No offense, Mr. King. Um, I am a fan of the writing. One of my very favorite books is actually Insomnia, which is not one of his more gore-filled stories. I think that's a beautiful story. There's scary parts, but it's just very, I don't know. It's beautiful. I love it. But again, I get emotionally attached to fictional characters, so it's a whole thing for me. Um, and I had a very like close relationship with one of my grandfathers, and I think there was some like connection there that I felt the character reminded me of my grandfather or what my grandfather could have been or whatever. Uh, I don't think they ever made a movie for Insomnia. My first Stephen King book, believe it or not, I remember, is Salem's Lot. And I did love Salem's Lot. I love the story. I thought it was a great story. The very first movie that they made for Salem's Lot, they've redone it a few times. The first movie is horrible, and I'm pretty sure even Mr. Stephen King said it was horrible. It was horrible. Um, it's hilariously funny to watch. It's so bad. Uh, but yeah, so and those are the things I like watching though. Every time I see that Stephen King has a TV series that's going to come out that's on a platform that I watch, I will go back and read the book. So there was Haven, which was based on the Colorado Kid, and I thought that was fantastic. The casting for Haven was amazing. I thought that all of the cast was very well, not just good actors, but they meshed well together. Um, and what was the other one? Under the Dome. I read Under the Dome and then I watched the TV series. And those two pieces of art, we'll call them, are there's a very similar baseline, but they're completely different. Completely different. And I love that. I love seeing that. Um, I think the only movie that I was kind of well, there's a couple of movies I was a little disappointed with, and then I'm gonna close it out because literally I could talk about books and movies until the end of time. Um, the Hunger Games. Mm, the Hunger Games. I think they did okay with the first movie. I think they did a little better with the second movie, and then I think they just lost it completely with the third and fourth. Like those were horrible, horrible. Um, they lost all they lost connection to the characters. I think that sometimes these screenwriters or directors or producers or whoever is in charge of that final like cutting room situation, they're so interested in what they think is going to be catchy that they forget that there's a human connection. That there's a reason that people are obsessed with celebrities. And maybe I'll talk about that in a couple of weeks is the bizarre obsession with celebrities because they're really just people that have other people put their pants on one leg at a time. um, but I mean, I don't hate Hollywood altogether, just mostly. Um, they're just people that are pretending to be us. Like that's what it boils down to is, you know, the normal people, the people that are doing the things. Hollywood pretends to be us and we're fascinated by that. Not that we're living in the Hunger Games, but like that's what they do. They aspire to pretend to be normal people in less than normal situations. Um, so yeah, that last two Hunger Games movies, terrible. Uh, Divergent. I read the Divergent series. Um, they did okay with the first two movies. Again, they did all right. I don't like what they did with the character of Janine. I think they got a little too off topic. And I love Kate Winslet. I think she's a fantastic actress. I just don't think that they played her up to her full potential. And I think she was cast very well as that character. Um, But like they took that movie ending in a completely different destination than the book. And I think that it's because the third book in that series did not receive very good feedback from readers because of its ending. Um, because I'll be honest, when I read that third book, I was like, I want my money back. I hate this. But uh, who wrote that? Veronica Ross, I think. Uh, she ended up doing like some stories about the character four, and it tied back into the ending of the third book, and then it made a lot more sense. So I think if those were tied in prior to that third book coming out, again, it's that relationship with the character. You have to have a relationship with the character, and if you ruin the relationship with the lead character and you don't have us have a relationship with any other characters in that same capacity, then the whole book is ruined. And the same would go for a movie or a TV series. Like you don't, yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. People can't spoil things for me. I will literally watch something. You could tell me an entire story, every single thing, and I'll still watch it if I'm interested. Like, I don't even care. That's how I roll. Super, super long discussion tonight. I cannot believe it. I don't know. Maybe that's what I have to talk about. Books and movies, because that's where I live in my head. Books and movies. Um, oh, I scrolled to the wrong part. Here we go. Because let's be honest, after all of this conversation tonight, I need my script. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Oh, real quick sidebar. So, if you, which way am I going? Okay, I forget I have to go backwards. Um, so if you are ever watching a live and it's during anything other than the summer, keep an eye on that window because when I start the live, it's daylight, and when I end the live, it is no longer daylight. So I thought that was funny. Last week I noticed that it was super super bright when I start, but then when I finish, it's just black. Um, Eventually I'll put a curtain on that, but it'll be interesting to see what it does in the summer because it's light until like, I don't know, 8 o'clock. So, anyways, thank you for joining me tonight. If you have not already, be sure to give this video a like or a thumbs up, follow or subscribe, and comment with hashtag live or hashtag replay. All of these interactions not only help to push out the video to more people that would enjoy them, they also help me know